What's up, guys? Mickle here, and Jeremy Hogan just put out a brand new prediction that the SEC versus Ripple case is never going to make it to trial. In this video, I want to break down his logic, go over why he thinks this case is actually going to settle before we go the distance. Now, I thought his logic behind why that's going to happen is actually fascinating and really shows how bad the SEC lost this case. In this video, we're going to go over that, but towards the end of the video, I actually go over a very exciting development coming to the XRP ledger right now that is going to completely change its use case when it comes to CBDCs. We see some of the largest institutions in the world right now saying that they want to adopt the EVM standard. I want to show you why that's actually going to become a bullish thing for XRP. Make sure to stick around for that. Almost no one is talking about this right now. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and just quickly go over an internal email that was just linked from Ripple, because this is absolutely outstanding, and it was breaking down exactly how they see Judge Torres's decision to their customers. And I thought this was just really cool because this is something that really gives us an inside look of how Ripple's legal team is interpreting Judge Torres's decision. So this is what Ripple believes are the key takeaways from the Ripple SEC case. 1. XRP as a digital token is not itself a security. So right there, that is probably the most important point by far. This is something that Ripple and the XRP community fought tooth and nail for, and that was the absurd declaration that XRP is a security. The SEC broke 80 years of securities laws trying to make up the claim that XRP itself, the digital token, is the security, and that was the most important thing that Judge Torres put to bed. Now, the other really important thing about this claim right here is this actually cannot be appealed. Judge Torres said it was a matter of fact, not opinion, that XRP cannot be a security. So most importantly, this is going to make sure there is never a black swan scenario in which XRP is mass delisted from exchanges all over the world. There's never going to be a scenario where we can't own XRP. So most importantly, right here, number 1, XRP is not a security. Also very important though is number 2, sales of XRP on exchanges are not securities. This makes sure that exchanges all over the world, like I said before, can keep XRP listed and keep trading XRP. This keeps retail in the game and prevents the SEC from trying to slam the door on us. I think by now we all understand how critical crypto exchanges are to the crypto ecosystem. So once again, it's just so nice to see that XRP on exchanges is not securities, and that is affirmed by the law. The next thing is sales of XRP by executives are not securities. Obviously, this isn't one that really impacts the XRP community at all, but me personally, I tend to really like Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, so I'm pretty happy that they're willing to sell XRP without getting securities violations. Also, in my opinion, the stronger Ripple is as a company, the stronger the XRP ecosystem is going to be. Why? Because Ripple is one of the biggest projects by far building on the XRP ledger. They are doing things to actually fund smaller projects building on the XRP ledger. So the fact is, we really want to see Ripple in the strongest position possible, and we want to make sure they're able to actually reward their executives for doing a good job. I know a lot of people get really triggered when executives at Ripple sell XRP. To me, as long as they're executing, as long as they're doing a good job, and you're going to see a lot of that at the end of this video, as long as that is happening, they can sell as much XRP as they want. I'm perfectly fine with it. As long as the company keeps performing, I don't see any problem with it. Next, other XRP distributions to developers, charities, to employees are also not securities. So once again, there's no reason to get in depth with this, just another example of sales of XRP not being securities. So you must be wondering, when is the sale of XRP actually a security? And that's in this last point. To the extent we made institutional sales, and notice how this is worded, to the extent we made institutional sales direct to institutional buyers in the United States only, those did constitute securities, and once again, notice did. So right here, essentially what Ripple is taking away from Judge Torres' ruling is that only sales they made in the past to institutional investors, only those sales specifically did violate securities transactions. But this right here is making me kind of convinced that they actually think they can keep selling to institutional customers in the United States without violating securities transactions, because they are using the past tense here very clearly for a reason. They are trying to make it clear we think we can actually keep selling to institutions in the United States, and I think that might be through their Liquidity Hub product. Either way, though, I just thought this was a really good breakdown of exactly what is now allowed going forward and what isn't allowed. When you really break it down like this, you notice how big of a win for Ripple it actually was. Almost no future transactions really are in violation of securities laws, and just like I had been saying, and like the other lawyers in the XRP community have been saying forever, it's really just a slap on the wrist for some past activity. It really makes things easy to understand, but I want to move on and now quickly go over a tweet from Jeremy Hogan regarding a trial in the Ripple SEC case. He tweeted out, "Why do I feel that one way or another, this trial is never going to happen?" And obviously someone asked him, "Why do you think that?" And he said a couple things. One, the pending request for appeal. 2, the SEC signaling its willingness to drop the charges. 3, the embarrassing witnesses Ripple will call, and he said some other things that he just doesn't have room to type up. So I think this is pretty interesting because what Jeremy Hogan is saying is, one, in the SEC's request for appeal, they actually admitted to the court that they might be willing to drop some charges going forward. Typically, if you're in a position where you're suing a company like the SEC is suing Ripple, and you're saying, oh, we might have to drop some of our charges after you already got wrecked in the first part of the case, well, that's not a very good look at all. I also thought the next part was pretty interesting, where he says the embarrassing witnesses Ripple might call. Ripple is going to call Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton to the stand if we go to trial. The SEC might not want that to happen. It's going to create a massive headache. And at the end of the day, what we're going to have when we finally do get to trial is probably a different SEC chair. So is this different SEC chair even going to want to go to trial at that point? Or is he just going to want to get this headache out of the way? The SEC ran a 5-year investigation into Ripple, trying to find something bad, trying to find something they could say Ripple did something wrong, and they found absolutely nothing. This has been a massive waste of time. It's been a massive headache for the SEC because it completely decredited the agency. Overall, I agree with Jeremy Hogan. Right now, this trial is supposed to start in like late 2024 or something. I don't think there is any way it ever happens. I think we get a new rational SEC chair who says screw it and just settles this thing. Either way, though, we'll see what plays out. I just thought Jeremy Hogan made some pretty interesting points here in why he doesn't think we're actually ever going to make it to the trial. Now I want to finish this video off with some exciting developments coming to the XRP ledger, but kind of tie it into how it impacts CBDCs and XRP really being used by the largest institutions in the world. Earlier today, we actually had one of the companies developing a sidechain on the XRP ledger saying that EVM sidechains are right around the corner and getting closer and closer to launch. So while this seems very interesting, obviously, because we're going to have smart contracts on a sidechain of the XRP ledger, I think that's obviously very exciting. I kind of want to move the conversation over to why this is really going to impact the XRP ledger. I think on its face, it's pretty easy to understand why having programmability on the XRP ledger is going to be absolutely massive in really importing new projects and more developers to building on the ledger, ultimately consuming more XRP and giving us more use cases for our XRP. But outside of that, I really want to go into something that happened the other day. A lot of people freaked out, and that was that the BIS is actually looking to use an EVM compatible chain for their project Mariana. Now, what's so interesting about this is, and I covered this briefly in my video the other day, is when people first heard that the BIS wanted to use an EVM compatible chain, everyone was saying this has nothing to do with Ripple and XRP, it only has to do with Ethereum. But Santiago Velez stepped in and cleared something up massive, which is that just because they're using EVM compatible smart contracts, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Ethereum. It's just a programming language for the smart contracts. So what's the point I'm trying to make here? Well, very soon the XRP ledger is going to have EVM style smart contracts. So the BIS could theoretically take this entire project, ignore all the inefficiencies with Ethereum, and move it to the XRP ledger. That way they have all the programmability with all the fast and efficient transactions of the XRP ledger. Overall, I think what we're going to see is the programmability in the EVM standard is going to be critical for a lot of these massive institutions. But these massive institutions are not going to want the high fees, the long wait times, and the front running on the Ethereum chain. So what are they going to want? They are going to want the best of both worlds, which is clearly going to be EVM style smart contracts on the XRP ledger. Overall, this is why I think this announcement is so exciting. It really shows that a lot of these institutions can have the best of both worlds. And I just wanted to show you one last example of this. This was all the way back in 2020, believe it or not. The IMF was directly talking about using the Interledger protocol with XRP, and they state right here that they were actually running an XRP testnet that was integrated with Ethereum. This really makes me think that the whole idea of having XRP sidechains with EVM compatibilities has been game planned for a very long time. I think some of the largest institutions out there are going to need this programmability of the EVM, but they are also going to want the efficiency of the XRP ledger. We know Ripple has been working with these institutions from the early days. They met with the Federal Reserve in 2013, and therefore I think everything we're watching playing out right now, since we got clarity, is just a culmination of all the backdoor meetings. I think right now we are finally watching a lot of the technology put into place, the side chains, the NFTs, the AMMs, all of this stuff coming together right when we are watching institutional adoption of this technology. Guys, it's things like the BIS and the IMF coming out and directly testing XRP for their payment solutions. That is not a coincidence. They are not testing it just for fun. They know where the value is, and we all know which chain is going to win in the end. It's the most efficient, it's the fastest, and soon it will be the one with the SAM programmability as the best programmable chain out there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.